Off the Plantation, A Journey Towards Freedom. Thank you for being here. On this episode, we're going to deal with one of the big issues surrounding plantation living. And if you're familiar with the concepts of what Off the Plantation and A Journey Towards Freedom means, metaphorically, it means that when Malcolm X in 1963 made some proclamations that America is like a plantation, it's like it has metaphorically, if you overlay sort of the roles and the domains that happen on the plantation, you can overlay it onto America. Yeah, it actually made sense. And so this channel is dedicated to helping to break things down in our current context in a way that you can understand sort of the plantation of America and understand your role with trying to get free or remaining free off the plantation. So to further that conversation, one of the things that I was thinking about recently is what is this infatuation with Marxism? Ideologies that are authoritarian and totalitarian. Why would anybody want to do that? And logically speaking, no one would want to be under authoritarian rule or dictatorship or totalitarian. Nobody would reasonably choose that, knowing that God made them a unique individual and gave them, innate, unalienable rights as a natural rights that they should be able to exercise wherever they are in the world. And so why would anybody want to embrace Marxism in any form? Because Marxism is in of itself a totalitarian and authoritarian type ideology. In other words, Karl Marx envisioned that the state, the masterminds, the overlords, would have total control, and then the plebes, basically the working class, is how he saw it, would be subject to the rules of the overlords. And therefore, they basically work for the state. I'm simplifying a lot of his ideology, but this is what it boils down to. So I'm helping you to understand that. So fundamentally, it is an authoritarian, totalitarian type of a motif, right? So when Frederick Douglass and Malcolm X became aware of Karl Marx and Marxism, they both rejected it out of hand. They both rejected it because they recognize that it is an ideology that forces authoritarian rule. And they said, no, we off the plantation. For Frederick Douglass, he's like, I escaped the plantation, baby. No, I don't want nothing to do with authoritarian rule or anything that could turn into totalitarian rule. Nope, count me out. He said, that boy Karl Marx, he's a danger. Called him a heretic. And Malcolm X, same thing. Now, these are principled men, black men, who actually went through some stuff, much worse stuff than what we go through today. And yet, today, we have a lot of blacks and ethnic communities that really embrace Marxism. Now, I'd like to think that they do it because they don't understand what it is. And so this is just a short attempt to help you to understand what it is. Marxism, shortcut, in general, is authoritarian. The government owns it. The government makes you work. The government you pay. All that. Authoritarian. And or totalitarian, which is the communist part of Marxism, which is his ultimate utopia, where the government owns everything. They rule your life. In other words, the government is the overlord and you are the slave in one form or another. Period. Hard stop. That was Marx's idea. So if you embrace Marxism, socialism, social justice, communism in any form, you're agreeing, oh yeah, I like authoritarian rule over me. That's what you're agreeing to. Why would any thinking America in this context today want that? That's the question. So if you are inclined towards that, you have to know that you are literally bound to the plantation and you want to just be enslaved. That's your mindset. You are a slave and you're happy about it. For those of us who are free thinkers, we want no part of Marxism. Matter of fact, there's a couple of people in history, Thomas Sowell was an ex-communist. And he realized, man, no, communism is authoritarian, totalitarian. No, I'm out of here. Manning, let's see, what's his name? Leonard Patterson was a Communist Party USA pioneer here in the United States. He's a black man in the 1930s. And Manning Johnson the same. And they both said, look, no, the communists want to enrage and use blacks, sort of as the cannon fodder, as a lightning rod in the streets, to agitate. But they want to use, abuse, malign, manipulate, and deceive blacks, not actually empower blacks. So these are black pioneers who grew up in communism and understand it thoroughly because they were pioneers. They were in the system here in the United States when it started. And of course, Thomas Sowell, a recent, modern day philosopher and just an incredible man. Why would anybody then choose to go back to that or want to embrace that in any way, shape, or form? If you're off the plantation, you're off the plantation. Here's the message. If you're off the plantation, you're off the plantation, and Marxist ideology does not fit with freedom. So if you want to be free, if you want to stay free, you stay away from Marxism in any way, shape, or form. That means black liberation theology. That means social justice. That means, any of these modern day thematic tactics that they try to use. None of it would be acceptable. Okay? So I encourage you to do some research on Marxism so you can understand truly what it is. It's authoritarian, which means it wants to keep you on a plantation, it wants to enslave you in one way or another, or it's totalitarian, which means it wants to completely overrule your life. It's dangerous. For those of us who want to stay off the plantation, it's unacceptable, it's untenable, and we are committed to staying off the plantation. Thank you for allowing me to spend just these couple minutes to give you a little bit of insight, and we'll see you next time.